theorist behind social judgment, Muzafer Sharif, defines a theory as the perception and evaluation of an idea by comparing it with current attitudes. Sharif stated that attitude is a blend of three zones or latitudes. The first is the latitude of acceptance, which is the range of ideas that a person sees as reasonable or worthy of consideration. Second is the range of rejection, which are the reasonable or objectable ideas in a specific person's mind. The third and final zone is a latitude of non-commitment, which the title implies is the ideas a person does not accept nor reject and is essentially irrelevant to them.
Don't forget to keep in mind ego involvement, because it is the importance or centrality of an issue to a person's life, often demonstrated by membership in a group with a known stand. When judging the message, there are three definitions to keep in mind. 1, anchor point, which is one's favored position within the latitude of acceptance. It secures all others' thoughts about the topic. 2, assimilation effect, defined as a perceptual error whereby people judge messages that fall within their latitude of acceptance as less discrepant from their anchor than they really are. And 3, contrast effect, a perceptual error whereby people judge messages that fall within their latitude of rejection as farther discrepant from their anchor than they really are. Now, we are going to play a clip from The Blind Side. While watching this video, try and identify the aspects that we have just defined.
And that this job offer came after you signed with them. Sean Tui, your legal guardian, went to Ole Miss.
He played basketball.
And Mrs. Tui went to Ole Miss as well.
She was a cheerleader.
Is it safe to say that Ole Miss is their favorite school? Do they like any other universities? What about, say, Tennessee?
Nah, they can't stand Tennessee.
And your tutor?
Miss Sue?
Miss Sue. Miss Sue is an Ole Miss grad, too. Miss Sue ever try to persuade you to attend Ole Miss? Did you know that the Tuies make generous donations to Ole Miss? That even Miss Sue makes donations? That the Tuies, they have a condo in Oxford so they can attend as many athletic events as possible. That in fact, both Sean and Leanne Tui are, by our definition, boosters. Mr. Orr, do you understand? Do you know why I'm here?
To investigate?
Yes, to investigate. I'm here to investigate your odd predicament. Do you find it odd, your predicament? Michael.
I don't know. Can I leave now?
No, you can't.
What do you want, man?
I want the facts. I need the truth.
I didn't lie.
And I want to know what you think about all of this.
What?
The NCAA fears that with your recruitment, a door might be opened. That boosters from lots of schools in the South will become legal guardians of young athletes without means and funnel them to their alma maters. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not saying I don't. But there are many people involved in this case who would argue that the Tuies, they clothed you,
No.
they fed you, they paid
No.
for your private education, they bought you a car,
No.
and paid for a tutor, all as part of a plan to ensure that you play football for the University of Mississippi. Michael, we're not finished. Call's not available, just like I told you 3 months ago. So why don't we go and continue? Below now, it's a beautiful. I'll call you back. Bye. Michael, so what happened?
Why'd you do it?
What?
All along, you wanted me to go to Ole Miss.
Well, of course I did. We love Ole Miss.
Why'd you do this for me?
What?
Everything. Was it for you or was it for me? Was it so I would go to school where you wanted? Was it so I would do what you wanted?
Michael, no.
That's what she thinks. Is she right?
Michael, honey, I need for you to just listen to me, all right?
She did lie to me. Not stupid.
Michael.
of judgment theory, there are some categories determined that influence how others evaluate persuasive information. In the persuasive attempt by the woman trying to influence Michael, we see some of these factors Michael has as he evaluates the persuasive information and what categories the information falls into.
Michael falls in his latitude of non-commitment. Michael would not be opposed to except being persuaded to believe that they really support Ole Miss and that they want him to do well. Therefore, they support their talented son attending that university. The woman starts to hint that the only reason for adopting him and helping him with his education was to get a scholarship to their favorite football team. This is information that initially falls into Michael's latitude of rejection. He has ego involved with the issue, making it hard to persuade him because he loves his new family. He has significant emotions about his new family and that he has known them to be generous, loving people who cared about him. This ego involvement issue plays a huge role in how Michael evaluates the information the woman presents to him. When she starts to talk about the car they bought him, the room they gave him, the tutor they provided for him, hinting that it was in his interest, Michael repeatedly said no. He does not want to believe this information is true, and that when she insists on throwing information at him so far from his anchor point, you could say it resulted in a contrast effect. Michael stands up and walks right out of the room, avoiding the woman.
Although the woman trying to persuade him may not be trying to influence his behavior, she's trying to change his point of view. I find that in this scenario, the anchor point, latitude of acceptance, and non-commitment are mainly influencing what he wants to believe, what he lets himself believe, and what he won't let her tell him is true. Michael has an anchor point or a preferred position he holds. At first, his anchor point is to believe that his new family wants him to be happy. The woman starts to bring to his attention that his new family may have only wanted him to play at Ole Miss because they all attended that university, but this is still within his latitude of acceptance. When she mentions they often donate money to the university and they attend all of their sporting events already, she wants to bring to his attention that they really support Ole Miss, so they are willing to do anything for it.
We can see that afterwards he does start to consider her information as being true, and he even confronts his new mother with it. So in a sense, her persuasion information moved from different categories within Michael's latitude of rejection to his latitude of acceptance. At the end of the clip, he seems to have believed the woman, which could be interpreted as her attempt in persuading him to have caused an assimilation effect.
This can help us understand and clarify examples of different attitudes or categories we all have and use to interpret and evaluate persuasive information presented to us, just as Michael does in this short video clip.